Skibidi-bop, howdy folks.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jay, also known as MultimediaJay, doing another Pastiche Tech USA video because I want to talk about some gaming news, and some folks really missed my impression of Rich from Review Tech USA. So it's time to scratch the pastiche itch with an article from Engadget called "Nintendo was right about the Wii U, we were wrong." Now, the author of this article points out that despite the Wii U having the entire deck stacked against it when it was first released, not being competitive hardware-wise with the current generation of consoles, it actually was more in line with the previous generation of consoles, and once again has turned into yet another Mario box where Nintendo bails out an otherwise lousy piece of hardware with huge first-party support, just as they've been doing for the last 20 years since the Nintendo 64. The main point of the article is that we should give the Wii U credit because Nintendo's quirkiness is one of the reasons why they're even still interesting in the first place. While it seems like gaming is getting formulaic and stuff like that, and even Nintendo might be getting that way with how things are in 20 years of Mario boxes, the Wii U, of course, has games like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, but also some other games that are quirky and new like Splatoon and things like that. There are also some interesting ideas with the Wii U. For example, being able to play the games on the screen on the controller if you have something else going on, like you're watching a movie on your TV or something like that, or someone else wants to watch the TV. There's quirky little features like that that were somewhat interesting, but probably could have been used a little bit better. The author's point is, it's Nintendo's weirdness and quirkiness and willingness to try new things that's the reason anybody still even notices them anymore. It's probably a good thing that Nintendo be a little on the quirky side, or always trying weird things or something like that, or being prone to gimmicks rather than being just a sad knockoff of Sony and Microsoft. If you want to read the rest of this article, the link will be in the description. Now, as far as the Wii U's quirkiness is concerned, quite frankly, I think that Nintendo's quirkiness may very well be what saves it, even if they continue to not make competitive consoles. Because here's the thing, a lot of people like to say that Nintendo doesn't even want to try anymore when it comes to hardware, but can you show me a console anywhere that is actually trying when it comes to hardware? When I hear stories about the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 costing as much as they have but not doing 1080p gaming at 60 frames per second, I really have to wonder, why exactly are consoles viewed as competitive when they're doing like 900p or something like that? I mean, my computer Tuxedo from 2010 is doing 1080-30 at the very least. But even in our day and age, I'm still hearing about console games playing at 900p or 720p, and folks are talking about 900p like it's an actual advancement. So I really have to ask, when people say that Nintendo consoles aren't competitive hardware-wise, are they splitting hairs? Because are consoles competitive hardware-wise, and could consoles even be competitive hardware-wise in this day and age? I still maintain, as I've maintained all along in my discussions about consoles with others here on YouTube, that consoles only sell for two reasons: their simplicity and their price. Sure, PC gaming is something where you can build an entry-level console killer system for a price around the original cost of the Xbox One and the PS4. But some people just want a simple little box that they can plug in and play, which I would argue is to their detriment considering how easy it is to just buy a super combo from Newegg and build an entry-level gaming rig that way. By the way, a dirty little secret among us techies, for those of you that are thinking about maybe trying to build your first computer, it actually takes less technical know-how to build a computer than it does to solder a circuit board. You're not soldering or etching boards or working with multimeters most of the time to put a computer together. So if you take precautions like using a grounding strap and making sure that everything's compatible, you can actually build a computer without needing a big electronics background. Anyways, when it comes to consoles and those points I made earlier, I really have to wonder how many of those points are still relevant most or all the time these days. I mean, yeah, we talk about consoles being cheap, but you can build an entry-level gaming system for around the cost of a console or slightly above it. And when it comes to simplicity, have you seen how complicated consoles are getting these days? If you owned a PS3, you know what I'm talking about. when you have games where you start them up and suddenly, boop, gotta download a patch. Sorry, you gotta wait a couple of minutes until you can actually play the game that you just want to play. So consoles have some element of complicated stuff or techie stuff to them these days, just as gaming PCs do. So it really makes me wonder, when people accuse Nintendo of not being competitive hardware-wise with their consoles, or starting rumors that the Nintendo NX might be more of the same, a not-so-competitive hardware Mario box that is just another laughing stock of a piece of console hardware, I really have to wonder, with the state of consoles versus gaming PCs these days, are we splitting hairs? Are we making too big of a deal out of the differences between consoles and PCs? Should we really criticize Nintendo when the so-called flagship consoles can't do 1080p 60 and console gaming is still in 2015 associated with a subpar gaming experience to a lot of people? Or better yet, what about if mobile develops to the point where smartphones start challenging consoles in terms of this worst gaming experience, as some would call console gaming these days? So what's your take on this story? Is Nintendo's quirkiness what's keeping it still relevant? Does Nintendo have a future? Are consoles going to be backed into a corner by the development and the mainstreamization, if that's even a word, of PC gaming? What's your thoughts on all of this? Make sure to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And once again, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.